Student dress code is something that sparks debate between teachers and students alike, which raises many questions. Do we need one? Is it fair?
I don't think that the dress code is fair because I think that it targets minorities and women, specifically with like do-rags and bonnets and things like that. That's a big part of Black culture.
I do not believe dress code is fair. It seems like it's very biased and only teachers feel as it's wrong and other students don't really care as much.
I also think that it targets people who are less fortunate because with oversized clothing or just clothing that doesn't fit in general, a lot of people don't have access to clothes that fit.
Of course, some of the buildings are a little freer in regards to the dress code, and some of them are very tight about it. But for the most part, it tends to be pretty uniform across the district. Anything that is overly exposed is not acceptable in the school, just like in the workplace. I think historically dress codes have targeted females, and I believe that historically that many dress codes have been designed so that girls have to dress a certain way so that boys do not have to be responsible for their actions. I don't necessarily think our current dress code is written that way. When they say no tank tops, they mean boys and girls. When they say, we don't want to see your underwear, they mean all genders, no matter what that may happen to be. I don't know that it's always, like I said earlier, applied appropriately because sometimes it goes by somebody's personal feelings about it. But for the most part, I think it's pretty fair and even.
As much as it may be intended, is the dress code really applied equally in the eyes of students?
I've never been like technically dress coded, but I've gotten comments to like zip up, and my friends have gotten dress coded before.
I was dress coded for wearing pajama pants, for wearing a hat, my backpack, jeans, and a tank top. It's not hurting anybody, and if you're distracted by it, then you should be like disciplining the people who are distracted by it instead of the people of what they're wearing. Because it's not the people's fault what they're wearing for guys to be distracted or girls to be distracted.
I think it's more a perceptual thing because when there's 1,700 kids walking past you and your day is one thing after another, after another, after another, it's easy as a staff member to walk down the hall and not even really see who's in front of you or see their face because that's what you're focused on and not really notice their clothing.
Through debates on dress code equality, students being dress coded have been dealing with repercussions. Is their education at stake?
I think that you will see things sometimes that appear as though there is a negative impact, but I also think that sometimes when you're young, you're looking for things to be challenged by. You're looking for things that you'd like to change or like to improve about your world, and that's a good thing, but can sometimes work out to a bad thing. So is it really the dress code, or is it really students kind of looking for something to fight? And I'm never quite sure where we land on that.
The dress code has affected my education due to having to go home to change and missing an hour or so of school just to go home and change out of like pajama pants.
With different perspectives come different opinions, but what can students and teachers do to help one another?
I think that adults in the education system can help, specifically men can help, because I don't think that any male staff member should ever talk about a student's appearance that's a female. I think it's inappropriate for male staff members to comment on the appearance of girls because it implies that they're looking at them in a sexual way.
As soon as you start saying a male teacher can't dress code a female and vice versa, then you're saying that we do want those limitations to be separate, that we don't want it to be fair and equal, and that would be very tricky. I think if you're a staff member, you should be able to be respected and trusted to apply these rules fairly and do them across the board the way that you're supposed to. And I think any limitations you put on that are going to be kind of artificial and will kind of add to the problem.
I think adults and our education system can do to help is don't be so strict about the dress code. It's not that big of a deal. I don't believe it's that big of a deal.
I think just continuing to address the concerns is the most helpful thing. I think At the same time that students are looking for those battles to fight to change the world for the better, and that's a really positive thing, sometimes you don't know where those battles are. And so you think you're seeing one thing and you're attacking that problem because it looks like a problem to you. And then when you hear the other person's side, just like you're getting heard, hey, this looks like this to me, and I hear you, then you hear my side. That's not what it looked like from where I sat, and then we all get to know each other better and we all grow. So I think that's the most important part of that.